of imagination.
Red pill or blue pill? Come and join me on the Matrix. Sorry, that's pretty weak. LED Matrix. There's 2 additional panels. I can't hold all 3 at the same time. But the LED Matrix sits back here. There's going to be a gap between the playing field and here. So what a lot of people do is they put either flasher boards or this LED Matrix. I actually have to put the TV back in here and take some measurements. I need to figure out sort of the width and the length of the wood or the mounting, whatever, however I'm going to mount it. Figure out the wiring. So come join me. Let's take those pills, or 1 pill. Red. The first step is sort of taking some measurements of the LED boards. When I measured them, it was actually much easier to use millimeters, so that's what I'm going to do. So each of these squares is 80 millimeters by 80 millimeters. This one here is 80 millimeters by 320 millimeters. So when you add them all together, you got 80 millimeters by 480 millimeters. So that's sort of my starting point. I'm thinking I'm going to be using wood to mount these on. I'm actually going to be using double-sided tape because obviously there's some height to the wiring. So I can sort of put tape on here to run the wires down and hopefully, or even the top. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how it's going to work. Funny thing about this piece of wood, I actually have this wood in the back box, but I do want to point something out. It's kind of cool. So I bought this at Home Depot, made in New Zealand. I was made in New Zealand too. So there's a little piece of New Zealand actually in this pinball machine, which is pretty cool. I was brainstorming with my friend last night and trying to think of ways to install it. I saw some videos with some brackets and different things, and I don't want to see any brackets. He suggested magnets, and I actually had these left over from the back box, which I didn't use. This could work. I really don't know, but it's sort of putting these on the side, and then this will just attach to the obviously this here. This might not be strong enough, but it means I could take, it's easy on-offable, which is kind of what I want, but I want to make sure it holds it. So that's where I'm leaning towards, but anything can change. So let's put the TV back in and we'll do some measurements to make sure that this is going to be a good height and there's no gaps. Otherwise I'll have to get something thicker. So I've got this gap here. I'm going to grab the piece of wood and we'll figure out what we're going to do. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be pretty cool. I thought about putting hinges under here as well. I'm not sure I'm going to do the magnets though. I'll show you why. So first of all, ignore this. I had to sand it down. I'm actually going to spray paint some blemishes when I'm all said and done. But you can kind of see the gap. This is going to be too small. It needs to be bigger. Also, this here is going to be in the way, possibly, of the magnet thing. It might work. Famous last words, right? I'm going to ponder, but I do know that I need some wood, some thicker wood. I'm actually going to have cut some cardboard to the size I think I need. So I took some measurements, 118, give or take. I know it sounds exact, but it's within a millimeter. It's going to be fine. 520 here to here. I had to take into consideration these little things here. So it's going to look pretty cool, but it has to be functional and work. And I'm thinking with the magnets, it's still going to be tricky to take out. I know the guide actually has this mounted to some sort of bracket as part of this thing here, but I don't want to keep taking this in and out. This was really hard. With this here being affixed to this, oh, that's fraught with peril. No, I need to go back to the magnet concept. But then again, how do you take it out? How do you pull it out? I mean, I could slip in a thing and pry it off either side. That might work. I'll put some padding down here, just some foam padding, just because this stopped the bumping against it. I think that's the way to go. So I need to get some wood. There's going to be a frame outside. The LED's only in the middle, so I have to paint the outside. But I think I know the dimensions of the wood. Although the wood, it sits out, doesn't it? Sorry, keep overthinking, over-engineering. All right, more pondering, More pondering to do. So this feels a bit like a retro throwback video. I'm sitting at Home Depot. I'm going to jump in there and grab some wood for the LED matrix panel. I actually started the video journey back in end of March, beginning of April at Home Depot, buying some paint, which they didn't have any, and some bits and pieces. So that was the beginning. So I'm here now towards the tail end of the project. So let's get inside. So that was successful. I even got them to cut it for me, so I don't have to make any cuts. So that's a plus. So we'll head back and I'll do some sort of preliminary placement of it before I paint it. And so yeah, let's go. So I got my piece of wood. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be good. I got it cut a little bit shorter. I was just worried about wiggling it in, but so there's plenty of room all around the sides. I should probably put something on the screen to keep protecting it, because knowing me. So that's cool, that's good. I might actually put some sort of foam around the edges for padding, but I think this is going to work. So I'm just going to put the magnets on the back and sort of do some little testing on that, and then, you know, see how we go. I'm back with my piece of wood. I should probably put something on this, protect it, because if anyone's going to drop it, it's going to be me. So I want to point out a couple of things. This is the side track. You know, I'm going to have one either side. So I'm going to cut out some corners on this. When I got them cut it, I did get them cut it a little bit shorter than I needed. I figure I'm going to put some black padding around it just to black out any sort of light. There'll be no light, but it'll allow me to take it in and out quite comfortably. So I'm going to trim these corners so they fit in well, but I think this is going to look really good. So I'm going to put the magnets on the back and start thinking about placing the LEDs. So my little magnets are attached here, and I've got the little thing here, so you can see how this will be screwed against the side of the cabinet, one on either side. So it's going to sit really, really well. I think this is going to work really well. I'm going to spray paint this. I end up going to drill holes into the wood, so the wires are going to stick right through the back. And then throughout sort of the mounting of these, I'm going to be using that double-sided foam tape. So it'll be like a sort of, I'll put the foam on here first and then stick these down. I have to figure out which way these are oriented, so I can figure that out. So for right now, I'm actually going to spray paint this, do a single coat, and then if I need to, I can always come back. But here's my paint. So let's go. So while my board is drying, I've been trying to figure out, you know, the orientation of these, because the way sort of LED matrices are set up is, you have the pin number 1 and they sort of flows backwards and forwards. I'm trying to figure out which pin number 1. According to the documentation, the female, which is this one here, pin number 1 is up the top here, so it flows that way, and then the last pin is this one, and the same here. So the female side of things, this is pin number 1, and then it flows, I think, or this way. It doesn't matter. But I was sort of confused about which way to put this, because it's supposed to form a single string. But apparently in the software, you tell it where the first pin is, whether it's right, left, up, down, side to side. So by telling the software where pin number 1 is, because it could be here, it could be there, the software takes care of it. That's what I hope anyway. So it doesn't really matter which way these are oriented, because in the software you're going to say my pin number 1 is top left or bottom left or whatever it is. We know how to stick it on. So I'm more concerned about where the wiring is going to come out the back to make it more convenient. So just a little tip.